video. Raise your hand, wait for the microphone. We're going to ask Coach to make an opening statement, then we'll take questions for the student athletes only. Coach?
Yeah, I don't really have an opening statement. Just fire away with the questions.
Okay. Questions for the student athletes. Again, please raise your hand, wait for the microphone. Right here.
For DeLon, Kyle Goon, Salt Lake Tribune. For DeLon, you guys were down by a lot in the middle of the second half. What kind of happened in that rally to make your way back and make it a fight at the end?
Some things just started going our way. I feel like we started rebound stops. Some baskets started to go in for us, and we were able to make a run. So, it's pretty much it.
Next question. You got a follow up here?
Dallin and DeLon, how do you feel about the last game of your careers in Utah uniform?
Dallin, why don't you go first?
For me, I just wish I could have left it a little more out there. I tried playing hard, and I wish I could have done a little more. I think we all have some regrets from the game, and we would like a redo, really. But I'm not thinking about the game right now. I'm thinking about the whole experience that I had with all my teammates and all my friends and my family that I'll miss.
Go ahead.
I know it's tough. I feel like we could have won that game. It's just one of those games that we weren't clicking as a team, but it happens, and we have to move on.
Okay, second row, far right.
Thank you. Hi, Leah Frazier-Dixon with Bring the Pain Sports here in Houston. The question is, with about 5 minutes left in the game, pulled within 8, really great containment pressure, seemed like you weren't going to go anywhere. Talk about that, and did you feel a good resurgence at that point? And that's for all three of you guys.
Jakob, why don't you take that?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that 100%. Is that again?
No problem. With about 5 minutes left in the game, you guys pulled within 8, and the containment pressure was very good that you guys are putting on Duke. Talk about that, and did you guys feel a resurgence at that point?
Well, we knew we could play better than what we showed before that, and we just stick together. We knew the game wasn't over, and we played with energy, played hard, and, well, like you said, we got within 8. I know there's not much more to say. We played hard, but we couldn't really finish it off at the end.
Back here on the left.
Adam Spillane, Sports Radio 610 in Houston. Dallin, what are the regrets that you have?
I think there was a couple rebounds I could have got. There was a couple times where I could have hustled a little more, maybe made a better pass. And then I got 2 free throws I missed at the line.
Okay, on the right here, far right.
Doug Branch, TSN. Coach, can you tell me, as you reflect, and I know it's right after the game, but a good season for you guys, disappointing end. Where do you go from here?
Well, heck if I know. I'm in decompress mode at this point. Just enjoyed the experience with these kids and going to soak that up for a little while and reflect. A little R&R and back in the saddle. But that's the last thing I'm thinking about right now. It's just that point in the year where it's been a heck of a year from September all the way till now, and these kids have laid everything, given us their heart and souls for the entire year. Unbelievable group of guys, and I'm just thinking about getting back to Salt Lake. That's where I'm going from here, and put it all in perspective.
Okay, we've got a last question for the student athletes right here.
Yeah, Dirk Facer, Deseret News. For all 3 players, do you feel like with the comeback you made at the end that you went down swinging?
DeLon, why don't you start?
Yeah, we definitely went down swinging. I think we made it a game towards the end, and that was pretty much it.
Dallin?
I know that all our guys are not quitters. Not a single one of us would stop fighting by the end of the game. Whether we're down 8 or we're down 5 or even down 2. I know that we're going to keep fighting, we're going to keep going, and it's just the kind of players that we got. We're not quitters, and every day we're going to come, and even tomorrow we're going to take some rest and recovery. But once we get back at it, we're going to be 100% going at it.
Jakob.
Well, like Dallin just said, I think we showed great character at the end, and we definitely didn't lose that game at the end. I think we could have done a better job in the first half.
Okay, we're going to let the student athletes go, and we'll take questions for Coach now. Okay, just raise your hand, wait for the microphone. We'll go in the back on the left.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Go ahead.
Coach Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. Winslow being able to hit his shots today, I mean, how much more difficult does he become as a matchup when he's able to hit outside shots like he did today?
Well, he's a high-powered guy. We looked at stats, I think, for the last 8 games, and he'd only had a multiple three-point shooting game. He hit 3 against Syracuse and 2 or 3 against somebody else, but for the most part was a 1-3 a game player. And so, I mean, with his attack moves and his athleticism and quickness, we certainly were going to live with his ability to knock down a 3, and it got us. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he stepped up. Thought we did a terrific job on their 2 leading scorers, and that's what makes Duke, Duke. And they've got some other guys that rose to the occasion tonight, made some big plays. But I thought him coming back to Houston day after a birthday, he was obviously juiced up and ready to go. We didn't have an answer.
Okay, second row on the left here.
Dirk Facer, Deseret News. Larry, you guys missed your first 9 shots to start the game. Do you think that was jitters or anything? And then same question I had for the players. Do you think your team went down swinging today?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure we played. There's been very few first halves that were as poor as we were offensively. Now, we were really good defensively, and we spent, maybe shame on me for the last 4 days. We spent about 90% of our time on our defense, and we've hung our hat on our defense. And I was really proud of the effort that we put forth. And it was a combination. I thought our turnovers, more than the missed shots, put an undue pressure on our, when we had turnover to start with, trying to throw to Brandon under the basket, went out of bounds. And I mean, 9 in the first half, that was the difference. 9 turnovers. And then, sometimes when you're presented with open shots, it was a bad combination. We weren't able to make them, but still to be down 5 at half, it really felt like we were down 20. So there was a little bit of hope that if we dialed in, took better care of the basketball, we needed to see the balls go in, some shots go in. It gives you a little bit of oomph, and that's what, when we were down 15 late in the game, that's, the threes add up pretty quick, and we didn't have that facet of the game until the very end. We never really got a good feeling, but I think a combination of, I know the game before us, they didn't shoot it real well. It's an interesting environment, obviously. It's not a basketball arena. It's the only regional that's played in a venue like this. Everybody else is a normal size arena, but it's not just our issue. That's Duke's issue as well, and everybody else that played here. But I think it had a lot more to do with our mindset and our turnovers. That it probably sealed our fate more than anything. As far as going down swinging, we always do that. I mean, we got our butts kicked, I think, once this year when we played at Arizona, where we pretty much got knocked down and we didn't get up in that game. But we haven't really been beaten like that, and I can trust our guys. We had 8 minutes to go in the game, and I talked about that. And sometimes we need a little bit more of that sense of urgency early in the game. But we do a nice job of responding when we get down and coming back. We've come back in a number of games, and the kids have never quit. So I think that's important, and that's something we talk about in our program, that it's really hard to beat somebody that never gives up. And that's not just a basketball deal, but that's in life and in general, and that's one of the things we try to get across to our players.
Okay, stand on the left. This will be the last question.
Coach, speaking of turnovers, your team seemed to really struggle against Duke's press. Is that something that you guys prepared for coming into this game?
We did daily. Believe it or not, it didn't look like it, but I thought there was going to be a moment of truth in the game where they pressed, and if we took care of the ball, it probably weren't going to see much of it. And Unfortunately, we had some turnovers, and they kind of juiced it up a little bit and added to it. But we had a 10-second call and a lot of unforced errors with that were more of a mindset and a lack of ability to make a play. But I'd love to take as much blame as I can for it, but we certainly prepared for the press and knew it was there.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.